All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, completely harmless, talking about real music in real time for a few, like literally a handful of people, just like you and just like me. All right, here's a band that had the intestinal fortitude to do an interview with me because I am just ruthless, right? I'm brutal. Evolution Eden, Sonic Cinema, good bunch of guys, and I figured I'd plug their album because they showed great courage to come and speak with yours truly, because I'm very condescending and all of those sorts of things. So, in any event, great music, hard rock and stuff, much like Motley Crue. And I'm not comparing them to Motley Crue, but Motley Crue is in the news constantly. It's like since they got back into this, they've been very effective at keeping themselves in the news. And it's not always the kind of news that you want to promote, but apparently there are allegations out there that Nikki Sixx did not play bass on Motley Crue albums, although producer Bob Rock has kind of gone back and forth on it. You've got drummer Carmine or Apache, depending on how you want to say his last name. He's out there claiming that someone very interesting ended up playing bass on the Motley Crue albums, and it will blow your mind as to who that person is. So Bob Rock recently was talking about Dr. Feelgood and the recording process. He says, I've got to tell you a story about Nikki Sixx. He says, this is funny. So while we were making Dr. Feelgood, Nikki says to me, he goes, I don't think I ever played on any of the Motley Crue records. I think somebody came in at night and replaced all my parts, he says. So I don't really know how to play bass. This is what Nikki Sixx said. I don't really know how to play bass. And Bob Rock says, well, too bad. You're playing bass on it. So I worked with him through Dr. Feelgood, did a lot of edits, and made him play every note. However, after Bob Rock made these comments, it sparked reactions. And so the producer had to clarify. It's kind of like what Paul Stanley had to do. He had to do a mea culpa. At no time did I ever actually think Nikki didn't play bass on Motley Crue's records. Well, you just got through saying that he said that he doesn't know how to play bass. This is what Nikki Sixx said to you. Why would you say that? He's claiming he doesn't know how to play bass. You're claiming that you did lots of edits and he played every note. So it's kind of weird that you would come back and say, at no time did I ever actually think Nikki didn't play bass on Motley Crue records. He goes on. He's one of the most unique and talented players in the world, and his approach to the instrument is part of what has made Motley Crue great throughout the years. Amid the controversy, like Bob Rock, John Five, who is the newest member of Motley Crue and now probably making some really decent money. So I understand about John Five wanting to defend what's happening here. He stood by Nikki Sixx. He viewed the claims about his bandmates' parts as compliments rather than criticisms, and chose to support him, standing against Vinny Appice and Mick Mars' accusations. I'm thinking Mick Mars was telling the truth. Why would Carmine Appice be lying about all this stuff? Because he wants to get into the news. I know he's good friends with Mick Mars, and he was really disappointed. And he was the guy who came out early on, Carmine, to say that Mick Mars was frustrated because the entire Motley Crue show was like fake. It was Memorex. It wasn't real. And we can talk about AI. It's getting better and better. And The people who think they're going to these shows and hearing a live concert, they're not going to know the difference. If it's not already happening, they're eventually not going to know the difference. The AI is clever. The AI can imitate voices. I mean, Bob Rock was just in the studio with Motley Crue recording new stuff. He came out of the studio and he said, yeah, that was easy. That was really cool what we just did. Some of the best music I've ever made with Motley Crue. And I'm like, okay, how old is Bob Rock now? Look, I'm just speculating, like maybe he forgot the old days, or maybe the technology now makes it much easier. You mean to tell me that Vince Neil sounds really good on these new songs? Maybe he does, but it might not be Vince. It might be something. When I say something, I'm talking about AI that sounds like vintage Vince Neil. I mean, they can capture the Vince Neil of 1988 and they can reconstitute that and put it on a record if they so choose and say, hey, it's new material. And that's Vince. Yeah, that's Vince singing. That's current Vince Neil singing. All right. Now, about the mystery bass player, this will blow your mind. So Carmine is on the internet or on Twitter saying, I rest my case regarding Nikki Sixx, ... Carol Kay, legendary bassist Carol Kay, the most important member of the Wrecking Crew, other than like Glenn Campbell probably, but I think most people would say that Carol Kay, one of the greatest studio bass players in the history of music, not just, of one decade, but he's saying that Carol Kay, I can't even say it, Carol Kay played bass on Motley Crue records. Carmine a piece. It's just, yeah. So when a story you think is already bizarre and weird gets even stranger, this, and I'm sure that he got this information from his friend Mick Mars. Mick Mars, by the way, has just been savaged by everybody that just wants to steamroll and move on and pretend Motley Crue is legitimate. We're currently on tour with Def Leppard right now. I'm thinking Def Leppard should probably team up with somebody next year with just a little bit more class. All right. With apologies to John Five, because John Five is a great player and he deserves to make a decent income. And I'm pretty sure he is now, and he deserves it. But man, it's too bad he couldn't have gotten together with another band or found another way to do this. But in any event, Carol Kay playing bass for Motley Crue. Holy crap, Batman, Robin. I mean, Batman and Robin, they were on TV when Carol Kay was making, I'm talking about the original Batman. Carol Kay is out there making all of these great records with a number of other great musicians. Here are some pretty decent musicians. Evolution Eden, Sonic Cinema, please check it out. Also, Modern Retro Radio, modernretrofm.com, playing classic artists and playing the new stuff by classic artists. Yeah, except for one. They were going to play it, but they're not going to play it. But I've already covered that in another video. Thanks to everybody for being here, folks. I still need subscribers. I still need patrons. If you want to have a conversation, join Patreon. If you're a musician and you want to come on the show here with me, especially if you're like an up-and-coming musician, you've got a decent album out there. If I listen to it and I'm going to be like, yeah, I'd love to have you on the show and we can get 50 views or 100 views maybe on the video. It's better than zero. Look at it that way. It's better than 0 views, and it will be in cyberspace, hopefully forever. So people can always go back and see, hey, Dave was at least trying. He was trying. He was attempting to get some of these artists a little bit of fame and maybe some notoriety and hopefully some income. But the music world has changed, and it appears that AI, it's going to be the wave of the future, and there's going to be fights about artificial intelligence because it's going to fool people so much that the people are going to be like, you're lying, and it's going to create all kinds of tension where there wasn't tension. This is why you need to go down to the dive bar, go down to the blues bar down the street and listen to some real music. Guys who would never use AI, who don't know even how to hook it up, would just be there on their guitar, banging away, belting it out, and maybe even singing a little off key. Ooh, oh no. As you can tell, I'm in an interesting mood. All right. Thanks for watching, people. God bless you all. God bless America. More importantly, God save America. And I will see you soon.